Black Myth Wukong is my most anticipated game of 2024. That's why I decided to spend some time, do some research and gather all the information there is available about the game and put it together in this video. The game captured me, and I'm pretty sure some of you too, with its stunning visuals, really good looking fast-paced combat, crisp animations, amazing sound effects and music. In this video, we will go through many aspects of Black Myth Wukong. Story and setting, gameplay, lore, characters, combat and combat mechanics, abilities, character customization, boss fights, potential multiplayer mode, talk about what engine the game will be running on, release date and pricing, although the latter we can only speculate on. I'd also like to share my concerns, I've got some and I'm really curious about your take, so watch this video and share your opinion in the comments. Alright, enough pulling the cat by its sack, let's check it out, shall we? Black Myth Wukong is a third-person action RPG set in 7th century China, and it's loosely based on Journey to the West, a novel by Wu Chengyan. That's right, this man. You play as Destined One, Sun Wukong, the famous Monkey King, an immortal being blessed with unmatched superhuman strength and speed, various superpowers, and abilities. The game is being developed by Game Science Studio, a game development studio based in China, not to confuse with Game Science, an American company that makes board games. Black Myth Wukong has been in development for more than half a decade, and it's being created by a relatively young studio with a smaller crew. So it's quite understandable why the initial release date has been moved from 2023 to summer of 2024. We can also assume that a game of this caliber, a AAA title, will cost you not less than $60, maybe even $69.99. But enough with the boring stuff, let's talk about the game itself. Like I said earlier, Black Myth Wukong is heavily inspired by Journey to the West. You step into the shoes of Sun Wukong, a legendary Monkey King. The game is set in a fantasy version of ancient China and perfectly blends together Chinese mythology with dark fantasy. It's a shame actually that we don't have that many games based on Chinese mythology. Right off the bat, I can remember only one game that tried doing something similar, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, and I really hope that Black Myth will not follow its footsteps. According to the source material, Sun Wukong is blessed with superhuman strength and speed, can shapeshift into various animals, people, and even objects, 72 transformations to be exact, and is also granted immortality, which eventually leads to Monkey King somewhat breaking down mentally, and I really hope the game will explore this aspect of Wukong's story. Along the way on your journey you meet various dubious creatures, fight enemies, and of course bosses. There will be a lot of bosses. Wukong wields a magical staff called Golden Cudgel Staff that can change in size, elongate, fly, and attack opponents according to its master's will. And knowing that there will be a stance system in Black Myth Wukong, this staff will be a perfect weapon. You could pretty much switch between close-up or medium-range stances depending on the situation you're in. Also, fun fact, according to the source material, the staff weighs around 8,000 kilograms. That's 17,000 pounds by the way. And when not wielding it, the Monkey King shrinks it down to the size of a sewing needle and stores it in its ear. Wukong can also clone himself, cloud surf, and manipulate weather. We've seen all of it in various gameplay footage. I'd also like to mention that Chinese people are very proud of Journey to the West, and the novel is a very important part of Chinese culture. For me, that's more than enough to believe that Black Myth Wukong will be a game made with passion and high attention to detail. Shut up! Now, this will upset some, but Black Myth Wukong will be a mission-based game. Something similar to Neo 1 and 2. According to various sources, Extra Life, for example, they've played the game already. Some levels are longer than the others, but the concept is this. You go in, you fight a handful of mobs, then you fight a boss and you're done. Done and back to the menu of some sorts. Neo games have already proven that this concept actually works very well for Souls-likes, but it's just not everyone's cup of tea, I guess. Personally, I will take a mission-based or just a linear type game over an open world game any time of the day. Just imagine how much more detail every level will have and how much more handcrafted the game will be in general if it's not open world. It's still too early to say how long every level will be, because even those who've played the game already haven't seen much. They've been given around 45 minutes to check out the demo as far as I know. Bottom line is, do not expect Elden Ring type exploration or you will get sorely disappointed. Although it has been stated that exploration in Black Myth Wukong will be worth your while, because sometimes it will lead to discovering various secrets, optional quests, and even secret bosses. And before we continue, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. I've set a goal for myself. I want to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. So if you want to help me reach that goal, give me a sub. In return, you will get weekly Souls-like games related content. Subscribing and interacting with videos is the best way to support your favorite creators. So thank you very much in advance. Combat in Black Myth Wukong is heavily influenced by the Souls subgenre. You have a stamina bar that depletes whenever you attack, dodge or run. The healing system looks quite similar to what we've already seen in many other Souls-like games. As mentioned earlier, in addition to regular light and heavy attacks, you can switch between different stances mid-combat to chain different attacks together. There are 3 known at the moment stances: Smash form, Pillar form, and Thrust form. Wukong will also have access to various spells like Ring of Fire, for example, that doesn't just deal damage to enemies but also buffs your healing ability when you're inside the circle. What's interesting is that Wukong can't block enemy attacks. Instead, you will have to evade attacks by running around, dodging, and jumping. But it's also known that there will be an unlockable skill called Stone Solid that will turn you into stone for a few seconds, something similar to Mortal Shell. So you could simply put, take a hit without taking damage. Another ability that was shown in one of the gameplay trailers is called the Pluck of Many. It allows you to summon a group of clones to assist you in battle and temporarily distract enemies. Immobilize is another ability at Wukong's disposal. It stuns enemies for a second, giving you enough time to either perform an attack or disengage and change your position on the battlefield. By the looks of it, combat in Black Myth will be extremely difficult, heavily emphasizing on players' reaction and reflexes, and will take some time to get used to. I am so open for challenge. We might be getting another rhythm-based game in disguise, eh? What I don't really like is floating damage numbers. They're all over the place. I think it's just cheap and mobile gamey. I'm pretty sure it's an optional feature and can be turned on and off, but I'd rather have it on and looking less cheap. Just like in the source material, Wukong is available to shapeshift. In one of the trailers we can see the insect form, and by the looks of it, it can be used to skip certain parts of the map by flying past enemies. We still don't know if the insect form can be used in combat. There's also a bat form Wukong uses to follow this weird birdman, this guy. I think most likely animal forms will be used in cutscenes to make the story more coherent when the protagonist moves around from one place to another. But shape-shifting into fallen enemies is definitely a feature to be used in combat. So far I've seen Monkey King transforming into King from Tekken, Fire Staff wielding Monk, and this weird looking creepy shit. I might have missed some, but there definitely is/will be more. And it's really cool that after transforming, Wukong can wield the specific weapon associated with the transformation. It's also confirmed that new transformation abilities, forms, can be unlocked by finishing certain optional quests. A big part of Black Myth Wukong gameplay loop is fighting bosses and mini-bosses. Some even describe the game as a boss rush type, a game where you fight a boss after a boss. One of the major bosses was revealed back in 2020 and it's called Centipede Guai. It is not very difficult to beat, but it looks extremely beautiful. Actually, every single boss fight I've seen looks like something out of this world. Everything from boss design, arena design, their attack patterns looks indeed next gen. What's really cool is that the game features all kinds of bosses, from gigantic dragons and things that probably shouldn't have names to player-sized human opponents. There will be a link to an old but pretty good IGN article in the description with a few no commentary videos featuring some of the major bosses along with a few more interesting source links. Check them out if you're interested. When it comes to character customization, we most likely will not be able to customize the looks. The protagonist in Black Myth is pre-made akin to Sekiro, but it's been confirmed that there will be various skill trees to unlock new moves and improve overall combat prowess. It's not known though if there will be a classic level up system where you can allocate points to certain attributes. Collecting and upgrading gear on the other hand will be available, more so essential. In this little clip we can see a weapon slot, a slot for probably a healing consumable, and a few armor slots, headgear, chest, gloves and footwear. I couldn't find any confirmation if using different weapons will be a thing, and all the footage I've seen has Wukong using his staff, so we will see about that later, I guess. Just a few words about multiplayer. It doesn't look like the game will have it. If you check the game's Steam page, it says single player, but there's this one comment on the official Black Myth Wukong website. It's all in Chinese, but if translated into English via Google Translate, the question reads, "Will there be an online mode?" And the dev opts to make no comment at the moment, before indicating a fondness for the single-player plot mode. Now, this can be a lost in translation moment, of course, or the devs trolling or just not wanting to answer, but it's something worth keeping in mind. I personally think a game of this caliber will benefit from having a multiplayer mode and increase its longevity, but you know, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice doesn't have official multiplayer and it's still considered the best From Software game by many players. I think multiplayer in Black Myth can be added so that it fits right lore-wise too. We know that Wukong is keen on using clones, so having a summoning system in the game sounds pretty logical to me, not lore-breaking. It is confirmed in one of the trailers that the game will be out in summer of 2024, so in 6 to 8 months from now. And here's a bit of information about the price. The game has been listed on both Steam and Epic platforms, but has not yet opened for pre-order. The pricing information for the game seemed to have been leaked by the third-party website Epic Games DB. According to the data displayed by Epic Games DB, the price was listed as 188 Chinese yuan, which is 60 buckaroos. However, this information has since been removed from the Epic Games DB page, with the price now displayed as 0 yuan. I think it's safe to assume that Black Myth will cost not less than $60, somewhere between 60 and 70, and also we don't know if there will be regional prices. And now I'd like to share my concerns too. First of all, the game was being built on Unreal Engine 4 originally, then Game Science decided to swap to Unreal Engine 5 to utilize all the features the powerful engine has to offer. The powerful engine is also very new, and I won't be surprised if the game is filled with bugs on release and, you know, performs poorly. This year we've got Remnant 2 and Lords of the Fallen. They both work on Unreal Engine 5, and both games had a good amount of issues on launch, so that should be kept in mind. Also, what do we know about Game Science Studios aside from the CEO Feng Ji dropping a homophobic, misogynistic juice on Chinese Twitter from time to time? Nothing much. There's this free-to-play mobile gaming title Art of War Red Tides on Steam, made by Red Tides, which is a studio owned by Game Science, but that's it. My point being is it's more of an exception when a studio with no real experience with Souls-likes makes a decent Souls-like. NeoWiz with their exceptional Liza P and Cold Symmetry with their black metal Mortal Shell. There are some others too probably. I just really hope that Black Myth Wukong will become another exception. I don't want to turn this YouTube channel into a place where I broadcast my views, but the Feng Ji controversy can't be ignored and should be mentioned. And I completely understand why some bigger channels don't mention it, but hey, here I want to talk about whatever I want, even if that means not getting a pre-release key. It's up to you if you want to separate the artist from the art. Like, subscribe, thanks for watching, see ya.